Hey everybody, welcome to the Pocket Dragon Pub. My name is Vixie Bell and I'm your friendly neighborhood GM. Tonight we are playing our holiday one-shot. It is called Northern Lights, and please welcome our table. Hold on one moment. I'm sorry. I literally was like, wow, that's great. Except my cat just decided to tap me on the shoulder right now. And threw me off. I was like, what's that?
Pat you on the back about it.
That is
You're doing great. I was like, wow, I'm gonna get it. Nope. Lol. All right. So that we're gonna pretend that never happened. We're gonna start again. I told you, I warned you.
But always at the funniest time, my dog, the cold nose on the back of your leg mid role play.
And you're like, ah! All right, one more time. Hey everybody, welcome to the Pocket Dragon Pub. My name is Vixie Bell and I am your friendly neighborhood GM. Tonight we are getting ready to play our holiday one-shot called Northern Lights. Please welcome my new friends here at the table and some old friends. You may have seen Amber and on our Wheel or Woe show earlier. I'm going to take that again because and I forgot like what English sounds like. So one more time.
I feel that.
Makes no sense.
I've been learning Japanese on Duolingo, so I mean, I feel that.
There you go.
Yeah,
It's those moments where your brain's like, I know what this is supposed to sound like, but I also don't want to do that. All right, one more time. Hey everybody, my name is Vixie Bell and I am your friendly neighborhood DM. Tonight we are playing our holiday one-shot, Northern Lights. Please welcome our wonderful friends to the table, old and new. Why don't you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Hi, everybody. I'm Amber, also known as the Space Jamber. I am a 3-time Emmy-nominated TTRPG writer, editor, podcaster, and streamer, having worked on things like Necrobiotic with Mitch, who's also at the table, and Flabbergasted by the Wanderer's Tome. So you can find me anywhere there's internet, with the exception of Twitter, at the Space Jamber, or thespacejamber.cool for my website.
Oh, even more exciting. I didn't know you had a .cool. I want to be cool.
I do. It's $30 a year.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Suddenly better than being certified.
Hiya, I'm Madness Diamond, but since we're friends now, you can call me Diamond. You can find me everywhere on the lovely interwebs at Madness Diamond, unless you're looking for me on TikTok, then I'm Madness Diamond 2.0. I am a content creator all across the interwebs, doing everything from actual play performances to writing to nonprofit work. So if you'd like to learn more about me and what I do, you can find me at beacons.ai/madnessdiamond.
Hey, I am Mitch. You can find me on all the social medias at Mitch S. Bustillos or Penny for a Tale, and I'm just happy to be here.
My name is Kayla McDonald. You can find me also in various forms of the internet, primarily on Instagram at @the_Kayla_McD. And I am primarily an actor and artist.
Hi guys, I am that one blonde nerd across social media. I'm also the owner and creative director at 88 Adventures, which is a neurodiversity and visible disability and mental health advocacy channel. I'm a pro GM and player. I have run and played on the main stage, stream stages, and other stages at Gen Con. And I was also a finalist for the Crit Awards this year. So that is me. I do lots of the TTRPG stuff.
And fun fact, we actually followed your channel before we knew you, which was very cool.
It's so cool.
It's so small world.
I know, it's crazy. So fun. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, I'm excited to have you at the table. So our table is phenomenal. As you can tell, I'm so excited to have everyone here for us. And like as I said, our one shot is called Northern Lights, and it is holiday themed. So are you guys ready to play a game? All right.
I was born ready. Let's do this.
All right. And we've been introduced to our fabulous table. I'm so excited to have you guys here. And now for our announcements. Let's listen to those and then we can play a game. All right. So are you all ready to play a game?
Absolutely.
100%.
Okie dokie. Let's go ahead and get into it. So let me take you to the country of Veselda. Night has fallen on the Silver Twig Valley, deep in the peaceful country of Veselda. In a country known for its natural beauty, it's no wonder that Veselda's peoples are mostly nomadic, wandering seasonally on well-worn ancestral trails and roads. There are very few kingdoms, townships, and villages scattered, here and there, as well as a few communal camping, festival, and trade areas. There are also carefully cultivated food forests to help travelers along. One of these such towns is the town of Todmorden, located at the base of the Eridanus Mountains. A popular tourist destination, many people make the pilgrimage across the Silvertwig Valley and through the Black Hallows Forest to the town. It's a beautiful little town known for its exquisite textiles, stained glass lanterns, and ornaments, with the bright jewel-like colors of their crafts being unmatched anywhere else in Veselda. But that's not the only reason so many people brave the winter snows to visit Todmorden. You see, when the constellation of Arcoiris reaches its zenith during midwinter, a natural phenomenon known as the Northern Lights occurs, filling the winter sky with colors beyond imagining. And Todmorden happens to have the best and clearest view of them. Now, we find you in the vicinity of a campfire that crackles merrily in the darkness of the Black Hallows Forest. It's only about a day's travel from Todmorden. Vardo wagons form a protective circle around the fire, with horses and other beasts of burden tethered nearby. Your caravan has made camp for the evening after months of traveling towards your destination. The evening meal has been enjoyed, and many are now settling in for their long night's rest. Some of the elders in the camp smoke elaborately carved pipes made of white pine wood, while others enjoy a warm cup of tea before they go to bed. The youngest of the caravan have long gone to sleep. The only person sitting by the fire is an old woman who is patiently knitting colorful wool together to form a blanket. While the old woman is knitting, we hear the sound of scurrying as some servants from one of the Vardo wagons run back and forth, preparing their master for bed. One of them, the head maid, is looking for someone, and she seems rather perturbed. For a moment, she looks around and then states, "Where is that girl? Minerva! Minerva Weaver, where are you?" Why don't you introduce your character, Amber?
Minerva hears that her name is being called clear on the other side of the camp, but does she care? Is there anything in particular that makes her feel called, not literally, but physically to the sound of this? No, absolutely not. For a few moments, Minerva sits where she is tucked in a dark corner, away from the crackling of the fire in the caravan, away from the voices of parents trying to keep their, discuss things about the trip. She's just sitting, looking at the stars, like building an expanse, not too at a point where it doesn't look like they're too far away from where they are. But she knows, God dang it, does she know that if our little tow-headed heroine doesn't get up and attend to her lady, then it's going to be hell for her mom. So Minerva, after a few moments, a beat to at least cause a moment of anxiety in her lady's voice, Minerva stands up and brushes all of the dirt and grime and detritus off of her very simple linen skirts, and picks up the front of her skirts so they don't get super dirty, and then toddles off to where she hears the origin of the voice. She takes a minute to steel herself to prevent any any hint of acid and sarcasm from weaving itself into her voice as she finds the person that called her and says, "Oh, lady, I do apologize." And she again bends at the waist with her hands grasping her skirts, white knuckling almost from the annoyance. Um, My lady, I'm so sorry. I must have gotten away chasing something. How may I help you?
And your mother, who is actually the one who called you,
Ah.
says, "Well, that's lovely in practice, my dear. Why don't you do that for real to the lady then? I was the one who was looking for you." And she's holding a basket of warm water with soap and scented oils for washing. Now, if you don't help me get her ready for bed, she's going to be very upset. And you know what that means. The pay gets docked. Don't you?
I do know what that means, Mother. I do apologize for my tardiness. Are you sure she can't get checked out for gangrene or something? Her feet are disgusting.
I will deal with the washing of her feet. Just help me prepare the water, won't you? And she jerks with a motion of her head. She motions towards one of the Vardos so that you can get in, so that you both can get inside. Your father is standing outside the door, waiting for you as well. Now my cat's on his knees.
Minerva makes a point to roll her gray eyes as soon as she turns her back to her mom, but before she rolls her eyes, she grabs like the bucket and the oils and the soaps and everything and says, yes, mother, I will assist. And then the second she's out of like direct eyesight from her mom, she's like,
The contrast between you and your mom is pretty apparent, where your mother is holding herself up straight. She's wearing a prim black dress. Her outfit is pristine. Her hair in a tight, neat bun. The epitome of a head maid. You stand in contrast to that with your attitude and your bearing. And your father sort of gives you a wink as you guys enter the Vardo and he whispers to you, "After this, take the watch by the campfire. I know you need a break."
A mirthful grin just haunts the edges of Minerva's lips. She dare not say anything lest that any interlopers may interfere with that plan. But Minerva like adjusts her weight a little bit to accommodate for like the heft and the shifting weight of the water as it sloshes in the bucket. And she heads over to the Bardo
He opens the door for you and lets you both inside. Your father is very good at being unprofessional in a professional way. And you and him have always had kind of that connection. But yes. So now while you're attending to your lady, let's move on from there to a younger child, old enough to still be awake, about, 13 going on 14, and saying, "Miss Eudora, thank you so much for your help. I'm going to go home now. I'm going to take this book, though. Is that okay?"
That's okay. That's yours now. You can just keep that. I can just.
It's mine? Thank you.
I think I copied it. Oh no, I hope I copied it. It's fine.
They run away with it before you can confirm that statement. "Miss Eudora's the best," is what you hear echoing as he runs over to his Vardo wagon.
And Eudora hearing that just kind of is just like, "Oh, it's worth it. Oh, it's worth it. I can just copy down another one. I think I had that memorized. It'll be fine." Oh no.
A cup of tea gets set in front of you. "Eudora, dear, you really have to make certain that you have a copy of the book before you give things away."
I No. And Eudora just kind of flips open a little like scrap of paper and writes that down and slips it into the pocket of like her vest that she's wearing. That was probably actually her father's at one point.
Your mother your mother smiles and shakes her head at you in that way of hers, and just says, just gives a little sigh of, this is my child. Like she knows how you are. And she pours you your cup of tea
Mhm.
and leaves it at that. So, and your father happens to burst in from the snow, his dark skin covered in little snowflakes and the dust of the day. He's holding his hammer because he's just finished working on the anvil. He's a blacksmith, so he has his tools with him, although he doesn't necessarily have heat with which to meld and work with metal. He can still hammer out dents and do minor repairs as a blacksmith. And he's carrying both of these items, one under one arm and one over the shoulder, as he enters, having finished his work for the day.
Mhm.
And his jolly voice comes in and he says, "How are my girls today?" as he enters into the bardo.
I think Eudora, upon seeing her father, because at first, tending to children and kind of entertaining them, she's very like slouched down at their level and wanting to meet them at their level. And talking to her mother, she's looking up, but her father and her are most likely closer in height than because she's half dwarf.
And at that moment, your dad opens the door, his sword, his hammer on one shoulder and his anvil underneath his other arm. He just finished blacksmithing for the day. While he can't work with fire out on the caravan, he can do minor repairs and other things like that. So he goes to set his things down as he walks in and says, "How are my girls today?"
I think as soon as Eudora sees her dad come in, because she's been hunched over basically dealing with children for most of today. And then her speaking to her mother, she looks up at her mother since her mother's the elf. And then, but with her dad, she kind of relaxes her posture, but it has this excitement and this electricity in her because he's about the same height as her. She's a little bit taller as it is. Being a half elf and a half dwarf makes things a little bit interesting with children's heights. And she just kind of very unladylike, unlike her mother, who is most likely very ladylike and very put together. Eudora just turns around completely in her chair, where her chest is against the back of it, and is looking over like a child would at like just excitement in general with this electricity in her eyes, and is just goes rapid fire asking questions. What did you make today? Did you make anything interesting? Did you fix something? Did you fix something fun? Something boring? What did you do? What did you do? Can I know?
He walks towards you, letting you talk, and puts a muscular hand on the top of your head, ruffling your hair. And he says, that's a lot of questions in 1 minute. But don't worry, I will answer all of them as soon as I sit down." And he joins you and your mother at the table, while your mother, who is very tall and lithe because she is an elf, is checking a notebook, and she looks to you and says, Eudora, don't forget, you have the watch tonight. So make sure that you're at the campfire after everyone goes to bed for the night. All right?
Okay. I can do
And
that.
your father, she joins the family at the table, and the three of you catch up as a family. Your father answering all of your many questions. We're gonna cut to the beautiful snowy wilderness that surrounds you in the Black Hallows Forest, where a group of people, of some of them being what I call adultier adults, older folk in the caravan, are returning from successfully gathering and hunting food. Some of them have rabbits, some of them have a couple of birds, like pheasants, birds you eat. And among them is one person without any catches to her name, but who seems to be very charming and is chatting up the rest of the hunters. Kayla, why don't you tell us a little bit about Marie?
So Maria's from a very prestigious hunting family. The Bella Boots are very well known throughout multiple cities, but they are not the most charismatic. And thankfully and blissfully, they had one child, me, that is extraordinarily chatty, but is not extraordinarily gifted in the hunt. Has a good eye for appraisals, not so much with the bow and arrow. So she is happily chatting with everyone, complimenting what they've brought in for the day, excitedly milling about to kind of cover up the fact that she has not herself gone out to the hunt. She stayed behind to kind of make sure nothing was stolen or caught on fire.
And one of the hunters, an older gentleman with a beard, who looks like he's weathered one or two of these pilgrimages in his day, says, "So what are you planning to do with these rabbit pelts exactly?"
Well, I'm thinking, because they're really nice and I did a great job with cutting everything off, that when we get to the city, that I'm going to be able to chat with everybody there, and we're going to be able to have some great trade routes coming up. I think it's going to be really great for all the hunters involved.
And you want to use the rabbit pelts to start this off?
Yep, the softest and the nicest.
Okay. First roll of the night, I'd like you to roll me a charm check, please.
You have an 18.
This was not a difficult thing for you, so you're good. This person's like, "Oh, wow, that sounds very profitable and lucrative. I don't see any reason why we couldn't give you the pelts once we're done skinning them."
I'd appreciate that very much. I'll definitely keep your name in there too. Just keep an eye out for the Bella Boots in the future.
The Bella Boots, got it. I think I've heard of them before. And the group walks off to go skin the animals and prepare them for the next day's meal before they wrap up for the evening. Another person, a woman whose hair is very tightly braided, she looks very much like the hunter, whose face, her skin and her hair have been weathered by the elements. This is a person who is used to working in the wilderness, hard work, tracking all of that. She looks at you and says, "Oh, by the way, don't forget, you have watch tonight. I heard that there are bears in these woods. I haven't seen any or any tracks yet, but just in case, keep an eye out for that. You're a Bella Boot, so you'll know what to look for, right?"
Definitely. I'll definitely know what to look for. Might not be able to hunt it, but I'll know what to look for.
All right, so we're going to cut from you to our next person. There is a knock on a particularly colorful Vardo that's sort of been wrapped up for the evening. So there's a knock on this wagon, this beautiful Vardo wagon that's elaborately carved. It's probably been in the family for a number of years. The horse that it's tethered to is resting nearby. A child is at the center of that knock. Just another older child, not quite asleep yet, but they're looking for someone. And when you hear the knock, Dante, what do you do? If you don't mind telling us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, Dante normally would be inside, but tonight he is underneath this carriage, kind of with a little pipe, and the lights reflecting off of the signatures of his parents as he stares at like the bottom engraved signatures of his parents, just trying to he's dreaming. So he the knock wakes him from this stupor, and he just kind of rolls out from under it, kicks off some snow. He's wearing long socks, sandals, shorts,
socks and sandals, huh?
Oh yeah, he's that cool. Sleeveless shirt, tunic, but with a very fluffy jacket that's way too big for him. That's just kind of scooped over his frame. His eyes are covered by his curly hair, and he's constantly fighting with it to get it out of his eyes. But he twirls the pipe and puts it out with his thumb, and just kind of pokes his head over the corner as he looks at this kid. It's like, hey.
The kid jumps back a little bit, like he's startled by the fact that you came out from underneath the Vardo instead of opening the door. And he says, Hi, Mr. Dante. I'm sorry to
Just hold on, wait.
bother you.
No, Dante, just Dante.
Right. Dante, you can tell it's weird for him. He's not used to addressing people that are older than him without a Mr. or Miss or some kind of honorific in front of it. And he says, "Oh, okay.
Yeah, honorifics
Don-
are meant for people who have accomplished something in life, and I have yet to reach my goal. So until then, just Dante."
This kid, it flies right over his head. He is too young to understand what that means. And he says, well, I was just sent to tell you something very important. The elder said that it's your turn to be on the watch, and you should be at the campfire after everybody goes to bed.
Oh, I did not prepare for that. You really should have slept more.
Grandma
Okay.
Nana says you sitting in your Vardo all day by yourself isn't good for your mental health.
Yeah, I agree. But I have ambitions, and there's a lot of work to be done. When you're about my age, you'll understand that life is a give and take. And sometimes there are sacrifices, and by the end of it, you look back and wonder if those sacrifices are worthwhile. But that's for future me to deal with, not for present me. But I
Once
appreciate
again,
a
you see
kid.
this flying over
Yeah.
his head. He's like,
Dante just assumes he's giving out wisdom, and that this kid is just kind of embracing it with open arms. Like, yep.
He just goes, I'm gonna go now. Grandma Nana said I should go to bed after I give you the message. Bye.
Oh, yeah,
He
yeah.
turns around
No
and starts
problem,
leaving.
kid. All right.
And Grandma Nana, who is the old woman sitting at the campfire, you actually have eye view of her. You can see her knitting at the campfire, waiting.
Yeah, I just look at her for a full minute with that like sleepy-eyed look. You look at any like place of work like right before you step into it, in the hopes that maybe the building will just like burn down right before you have to work. Not that he means the old lady any harm, but he does not want to be up this late after not sleeping. But thus is life. He lights up his pipe again, puts it in his mouth. It smells of peppermint. And he walks on over to this old lady, this Elden lady, super
Elder.
old. Yeah.
Yes, she is older. And we cut from that scene of you walking towards the lady, like, we pan away, tilt, pan, whatever. I get camera directions Fubart all the time because I don't know my directions, but I do, I promise. But anyway, to where some of the horses are being kept, because the way that this layout is the horses are actually just inside of some of the Vardo, so they're close enough to the fire to be warm, but far enough from the fire to not interfere with people going about their daily business. And one of them, a beautiful muscular chestnut horse, is huffing and whickering over the form of a very slender elven girl. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Riel, Christy?
Yeah. Riel is a very petite 14-year-old. And just looking at her, you would not think she was someone who could handle these very large muscular horses very easily. But she does it with very little effort. And she has a nice smattering of freckles and big round glasses and this very thick, very curly strawberry blonde hair. And she intentionally kind of keeps her head slightly forward so that it's in her face a bit because she is very shy and she doesn't want to be perceived. She is just like very gently with like a very soft brush, just like going over the horse. And he is just shining like a new minted penny, like, and having a great time. And as she's doing that, she's just like kind of whispering softly and like humming little bits of song and like very much in her own little world. And she also has heterochromia, where one eye is like bright green and one is like a soft brown with like gold flecks and stuff. But yeah, she's just kind of like very much in her own world. She is as much out of sight of the rest of the camp as she can be. She's intentionally gotten Acorn in between the other horses. So if people aren't looking for her specifically, they don't know she's there. And occasionally she kind of slips a little bit of apple or a little sugar cube or something out of a pocket and gives it to Acorn or the other horses. Sorry.
Okay. No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
As she's kind of finishing the one side, grooming him, she kind of slips around the other side and begins. And as she moves to the front, she catches her foot on a stone and trips. And as she does, Acorn looks over and just like kind of grabs and like catches the back of her. She's kind of it's kind of like a dress with a little bit of a cape, but it does have pants. So it's a little more fragile. And it just grabs the back of it and like very slowly kind of puts her back on her feet. Like he has done this a million times. And she just kind of like shakes her hair out of her face and like gives him a rub on the neck and then just keeps doing her thing.
Acorn sort of lets out a huff, like, you got to stop doing this, kid. And it does the horse equivalent of ruffling your hair, which is basically just putting his velvety muzzle on top of your head while you're brushing him. And you can tell his head is sort of bobbing along to the music that you're humming because he's heard this song before a number of times, I'm sure. So he's just enjoying the comforting sound that you make. And while you're grooming him, the sound of footsteps is something that you could hear as someone walks up. And a familiar voice calls to you and says, "Hey, Riel, are you back there? I see Acorn, but I can't see you."
She misses the footsteps, and so the voice startles her, and she kind of jumps and starts to drop the brush. And Acorn intentionally leans into it a little bit to kind of keep it from falling.
Just kind of goes like this.
I got you. And she kind of looks around, and in a semi-panic of, I don't know if I want them to know that I am here. Yes.
Your brother follows the sound of the voice and peers around peers sort of around the four quarters of another horse. And you can see the familiar facial features and stuff, and the, that marks him as your relative, and says, it's a little late to be grooming Acorn, isn't it?
Is it ever really too late to be grooming the horses? I mean, they help us travel, all day. It's the least we can do, right? Is make sure that they're comfortable and that they have everything they need. And you know how Acorn likes his sugar cubes?
Acorn is so shiny you can see him from across the camp.
Well, that way I won't lose him in the snow. It's for safety.
And Acorn huffs like an indignant little, like, how dare you make a comment about me to your brother. And your brother just kind of sighs and says, all right, did you remember to eat something at least? You didn't give your food to Acorn again, did you?
Define eating? Is there like a amount requirement or a time requirement? Because I definitely had an apple when we were setting up camp. Most of an apple.
Your brother sighs and reaches into his pockets and pulls out a sandwich wrapped in wax paper and holds up a canteen of water and says, "It's a good thing I prepared these for you then." And holds them out to you.
There's like this flash of indignant because I'm 14 and goodness, I'm becoming an adult, and also like kind of like awkward, like, oh, I messed up. I didn't get dinner. And she kind of like just puts the brush like in her belt and like reaches out for the sandwich. Thank you. Eating's really inconvenient. You have to do it so many times a day. You really should be able to eat when you want to instead of all the time. Just when it's fun, right?
He looks at you like he knows you well enough. He's your brother, that he knows that you're trying to make an excuse for not eating. And he says to you, "Look, I'm not gonna tell mom and dad you forgot to eat, okay? I'm just making sure that you eat. You're gonna need your strength because they said that you're on watch tonight at the campfire."
Oh, And she like kind of perks up just a little bit and looks excited. Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be there with you. I have to. They told me I have to do it too. But it's mostly because they made you do it, and I know how you are around other people, so I made sure that I'd be there.
Right. And at first she's kind of got this like, ooh, I am getting treated like an adult. This is cool. And like it'll probably be kind of quiet and peaceful. And then the rest of that, and she kind of like deflates just a little bit. Right, of course. And I mean, I've never done Watch before, and I've only read about it, and I've heard the adults talk about it while they've been getting their horses put away for the evening. So that makes sense that they'd have you come, of course, so I can learn, right?
And he smiles at you and says, yeah, and it all, well, you know, I'm just looking out for you, okay? I just didn't want you to be in a situation you're uncomfortable in.
Right. The reference to not being great around people kind of comes, and she blushes and kind of like goes down, so her hair goes in her face again, so her brother can't see it and tease her.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
And he conspiratorially leans down to you and whispers, I also am very good at hiding my accent, so people think that I'm just like them. And you hear the familiar accent of where you're from on his words.
Right. Should I be doing that more? Do you think? Do you think that would be good?
I wouldn't worry about it right now. You don't see enough people for it to matter anyway.
I'm just not very good at remembering. I try to think in it, and then it doesn't go well, and then I just stumble over my words, and then I just forget. But I'll keep listening to everyone. I'll practice.
He sits back up and kind of resumes his normal posture, like nothing just happened between you two about that. And he says, look, don't worry about it. It's not that important anyway. Just something to keep in mind. Blending in is better when you're different. And he taps at his ears, showing the pointiness of them, marking you both as elves.
Right. Of course. She kind of like self-consciously like grabs a little like hood on her cape and like pulls it over her head. She's trying to hide even more. Right. It's good. I'll practice more. I'll practice with Acorn, you know.
There's other elves in this camp, but I don't think that they speak the way that we do. So they're probably not from the same parts that we are.
Right. Well, and we're new, so we want them to like us. So
anyway, he gets up. He gets up as you're finishing your thought and gives you gives it like the horse but worse. He deliberately ruffles your hair and messes it up, kind of making it stand up. And,
I can never keep it down.
And he laughs and says, I'll see you later, okay? And walks away.
It'll be a lot later. Goodness sake, you think I feel like a child?
You're still related.
Yeah.
And we leave that there as some time passes and most of the camp has gone to bed, which leaves the people that are getting ready to go on watch at the campfire arriving. Devin, your brother, is already there, and Minerva, your father, is there also. It is also his turn to be on watch. He's dressed much more casually since it's not technically one of his duties to the wealthy nobles. So he's wearing, instead of the usual black well-kept suit that he wears when he's in service, he's wearing more of a loose linen shirt and over his pants, much more casual and easygoing. And you can see that it's much more reflective of his personality too. And what are you guys doing at this point?
Sorry, was that
from the goodness of my heart, I'm gonna take a bit of bread that I've been holding on to from my pocket and throw it at the horse tending girl.
God bless you, Mitch.
Yeah.
So Riel is coming away from the horses, and Acorn just follows her. Acorn goes everywhere. Acorn's like the dog that follows at the heels, but like too big to fit in the cart. And she's kind of like trying to give off confidence, but still kind of standing like really, really close to the horse and kind of looking around at everybody. And then suddenly there is bread at her feet, and she kind of jumps and she looks at the bread and looks over at Dante. And when she sees him, she kind of freezes for a second and her eyes get really wide. like, and then she just kind of like sits there for a second, like she's thinking about something. And then she kind of shakes her head out of it.
Pick it up. The bread.
Oh.
You're supposed to eat it. I saved it for you.
Why did you save bread for me? We never even met. And also, why'd you throw it in the dirt?
I meant to throw it at you, but it's the wind.
Why are you throwing food at me? I thought
It was supposed to be a nice gesture of welcome to this thing that we're a part of, that we're both a part of, and you're all like you could be blown away by the wind, much like the bread blew it away, which prevented it from going into your hand that I threw pretty accurately at. But it's nice. You should eat the bread. It's only been in my pocket for some time.
She looks confused and like has one arm around like underneath Acorn's neck and like pulls a little closer to him. Because she doesn't know how to turn down dirty bread that was thrown at her. This is not an experience that she has read about or knows about. And she kind of looks down. I really try to keep things clean, especially that
while you're trying to finish your thought, the acorn leans down and eats the bread, but does it in a way where it's like an FU to Dante. He just looks at you like, how dare.
Gives you the like looking down.
Yeah.
That was not for you, horse, but
the horse snorts like
very hungry, you know, all of the time.
Are you leading the horse, or is the horse like, do you have him on a longe line or something like that?
He is. Nope. He is no halter or anything. She's had him since he was like born, basically, and he just follows her. And I mean,
cool. So he's gonna bump you in the shoulder the way that like a horse might bump another horse, to urge you forward towards where you're supposed to go. Like, pay no mind to this person. Keep going.
It was nice to you. We're on watch.
Yeah, we're doing the watch.
What?
We're doing the watch. The watch. We are doing it tonight. Yeah. We're gonna watch stuff. It's gonna be cold.
Yeah, probably, but it could be pretty. I need to go find okay. And she just kind of like slowly ducks till she's on the other side of Acorn and like kind of to herself. And she is so slight that she just kind of like disappears on the other side of his legs. Mm-hmm. And she just kind of like has his mane, and she's just like, okay, this was awkward.
All right. So you just make your way to the campfire as the others begin to arrive. What are you guys doing?
I'm rolling in ready to say hi to everyone.
Okay. So you're just cheerily marching in, taking your seat in front of the campfire. All right.
I brought spare pelts in case anyone gets cold.
Awesome.
Okay. I think Minerva is like drenched from like waist down in just old, nasty like bath water at this point. Her dad probably gave her like an overcoat to wear to you know, keep warm and to like maybe help wick some of the moisture from the from the bath like away from her body if they were going to be like if she was going to be at the campfire. So she's just like her teeth chattering, the like little sprouts of like blonde hair is like coming out of her like braided crown like at the nape of her neck just from exertion. Hands are just so like she's just like
all right, I'm gonna throw my coat at her.
So dumb.
Just gonna throw things at people. That's how we make friends here.
That's the tables.
Yeah, this is my social proficiency is throwing. Just like where get warm.
You know what? Shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth. Thank you.
Horse is over there. I'm Dante.
It's nice to meet you, Dante. I'm Minerva. You said there was a horse over there? Oh yeah, of course.
You said don't. Yeah, you like mumbled. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Just the horses. I'm not a horse. I'm a person. But Yep.
Great. Glad
It's
you're not a
fire.
horse.
Yeah, how about it? It's warm. There's heat coming off of it. Yep.
Well, I'd rather have the fire yelling at me and roaring at me than my lady. So,
Oh, they yell at you.
oh yeah, of course. What about you?
My
Your dad appears behind you as soon as you start he sees you like kind of twirling your hair a little and says, "And you are?"
about me or
Yes,
the
you.
oh
That's Dante, Dad.
yeah, I'm
Dante.
Dante. My little wagon is over there.
You're the guy who stays in his wagon all the time?
I think I might have other traits. Sometimes I'm under it. So the guy who's either in or under his wagon all the time. Multifaceted.
He raises an eyebrow and he says to you, "All right, well, mind your manners around my kid." And he puts his hand on your shoulder, Minerva, a protective hand.
I don't know. Maybe don't send your kid out in the cold and wet. I don't know.
Dad, thank you for caring. No, he gave me a jacket after that.
Borrow, but you can borrow the
To
jacket.
borrow.
I need that. Yeah, I need that tomorrow. It's my only jacket.
Well,
He's
thank you.
lending you your jacket, huh?
Dad, I just met him 30 seconds ago. It's
Yeah, this
not
is
a big
awkward.
deal.
Where's that old lady
Yeah.
at?
Where's everybody else? I thought there
Yeah,
were more
where's-
people that were taking
Old
watch
lady, where you're the leader of this, right?
So the
Lady.
old woman is sitting at the campfire just watching these interactions, like listening. Actually, she's knitting. She's actually active, like listening to these interactions while she's waiting for people to show up. Minerva, your father is after voicing his disapproval of this interaction, seems to back off after you explain what's happening.
I think Eudora showing up probably near last because she went looking for that kid who took
Mhm.
the book with them just to double check that she had an extra copy or she had
Mhm.
made at least copies of the important parts of it.
Mhm.
And very kindly asked the adultier adults, that would have been the kid's
Mhm.
parents,
Yes.
if they could maybe let her borrow it for the night to make sure that she got all the
Mhm.
passages she needed out of it. And then the kid could more than happily keep it while they're on this trip together and then just return it to her before they part ways.
Okay.
As is the necessity of a caravan, is usually you
Mhm.
exchange things for the duration and then get them back eventually. But
Okay.
she's dressed in a quilted, almost linen shirt that
Mhm.
definitely looks like it was maybe not intended for her to wear, but has been adjusted to her measurements a little bit better. And then, of
Mhm.
course, her father's like very thick vest that she probably took a couple of years ago when they were
Mhm.
closer in height, that is patched with like patchwork pockets all across it.
Okay.
And then an overdress, like many ladies wear, probably that was once
Mhm.
her mother's,
Mhm.
that has been hemmed and hiked up, that she's currently trying to very quickly run, but not run, because you're not supposed to run in camp. You're not supposed to run around older people. Set a good example for the children so the children do not run.
Mhm.
And is going up to this campsite with a handful of basically just an extra quilt and like a little basket full of snacks that she's been managing to
Super
keep.
prepared.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she deals with a lot of children and a lot of
Mhm.
teens, and what better way of bribery to make sure they stay in their seat than snacks? Uh,
Mhm.
and then little like fidgeting trinkets that maybe she's put together out of
Okay.
like her father's metal scraps, and they've been like shaved on the sides. So she just sits down, probably next to Marie, with like this basket full of stuff, and just offers. And it's like, "Do you need a snack? I have a book if you want to read. If you want to take turns watching in one direction, I can watch, and you can watch, and you can read a page, and I can read a page. I can also read it out loud if you'd like. Hi,
Hi.
I'm Eudora. I think I saw you walk out with the hunters
Yeah,
earlier.
I'm Marie.
It's very nice to meet you, Marie. Do you know a lot about what animals look like then if you go out with the hunters?
Yeah, I know a lot.
Okay. do you think this looks like a rabbit? And then we'll open a little pocketbook out of one pocket, and it's a very not rabbit-like drawing. It looks probably closer to maybe a horse with some very long ears that don't quite go in the right direction.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen a rabbit that looks like that, but I don't know where you're from. So they might have rabbits there that look like that, but they don't look like that here.
Okay. One of the kids, I had one of the kids describe to me what they thought a rabbit looked like. I don't think they've ever seen one.
Well,
Not
that's
as
a little
scarf.
long, but you got the ears.
Yeah. I think they've only seen them as scarves and not like
Maybe.
and then it's like, oh, but I did show them this. And then she uses shadow puppetry to basically make the look of a rabbit hopping against the firelight, so that it hops from the ground that's in front of you, like towards you, and then like turns and then hops away. So
That's
maybe
so
that.
cool.
I spend a lot of time with kids, so I need to keep their attention somehow. Have you been with the caravan long?
No, this is my first time. Parents are letting me go solo, so I'm really excited.
We jump around caravans, me and my mom and dad. My dad's the one with the big hammer that likes to hit stuff to fix it.
Oh, I've heard him. Yeah. He's strong.
He's really loud, but he's really nice. He's really cool. My mom's really nice too, but she's quieter and more like, and she's like puts her head up. She's taller. She's just like trying to think of things to make conversation because she's probably not met someone, like spent time with someone her own age, not related to her in a very long time.
The clicking of knitting needles seems to pause for a minute now that everyone's here. And Grandma Nana, who you were talking about earlier there, Dante, looks up from her knitting and seems to like, there's that moment of where she like kind of looks at the sky for a minute, like little, it's a little weird. And then she looks at all of you and says, "Oh, finally, you're all here. Thank goodness. I thought you'd never get here. Darn kids." And your dad, Minerva, pipes up and says, "Ma'am, not all of us are children." And he says, "You should mind yours then, your children. Look at her state. Terrible, terrible state. All wet." And she goes back to her knitting.
I can speak for myself, like Dad, I love you so much, but I don't. I'm 15. I can use my own voice, right? Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I think you
the
should
old woman
take
snorts
advantage.
at you, Minerva. Sorry, go ahead, Dante.
I look at Minerva. I'm like, you should take advantage of someone speaking out and protecting you now, because when you're older, you'll be too tired to do it.
You're not much older than me. I mean, you're not much older than any of us here.
Yeah.
I'm very certain you're not older than me from what? No, I don't think so. You look like you need something. And she just looks through the basket real quick and pulls out what is a wax paper wrapped piece of rock sugar. It's like, maybe you just need
Amazing.
that.
Like sugar. Wait. Oh, okay. No, that's cool. Yeah. That goes well with the pipe. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. That is great. Yeah.
Grandma Nana looks up again and sniffs the air, and she sort of says, "Something's off tonight. Very off." And she looks at Uriel, and she says, "Something smells funny here."
Riel is like gone as far away from the fire as she can feels like she can reasonably do while still being close enough. And she has been like slowly eating her sandwich on the opposite side of the horse, like just very slightly watching everyone, like very intently as she's watching all of the interactions.
Mm-hmm.
And when the grandma says that, she kind of jumps and like almost drops her sandwich and tries to catch it. And yet again, Acorn kind of leans into her bit and kind of helps out.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong? What's wrong?
Your Your brother is nearby. He's like, he kind of has stepped closer towards you in like a protective way, but isn't as overbearing as Minerva's dad about it. It's just like, I'm looking out for this person, but I'm not going to like hop in unless they need me. Whereas Minerva's dad is like, I will fight you if you look at my child the wrong way.
I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him.
And she says,
No, not you, child. You're not the one that smells funny. Something's in the air. I can't put my finger on it.
and she leans in close to the campfire, and the shadows play across her wrinkled face, giving her a little bit of a haunted, scary look. And she says,
I mean, yeah.
Don't you understand? Have you heard the legends of the Black Hallows Woods?
No. She's like reached down. Oh, sorry.
she huffs a little bit, and she says,
Well, they claim that the Fae once used to haunt this place, and some of them still do. I haven't seen any myself in all my pilgrimages here, but I wouldn't put it past them to try something. That's why I put things all over my wagon.
and she motions to her Vardo, which is as colorful as everything, as all the other wagons could be, have been. But they have little tiny boughs of holly, and you can see that an iron horseshoe has been posted over her doorway, just sitting there in its little U shape. And she says,
Something's in the air tonight, and it wouldn't surprise me if it was those darn Fae.
Riel's like taking one hand off the sandwich and pulled a really beautiful little stained glass charm that has these wound and like really gorgeous pieces that don't really make any sense to make this little kind of bauble that's on a string. And she's pulled that up, and she's just kind of like very anxiously like running it through her fingers. The very soft tinkling sound as she just kind of starts playing with it as things are getting really weird and she doesn't know what to do about it, and this is stressful. She's just okay, this is fine.
Grandma, I don't think you should be scaring people. Like, I'm not afraid, but other people are afraid. But maybe we not. So, especially at the start.
And the Grandma Nana looks at you as she continues her knitting her blanket, and she says,
I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm just making you aware. What happens if a Fae enters the camp? Would you know what to do? Have you paid attention to the legends that you don't know? You have to remember the big 3 things. Number 1, never thank a Fae. Number 2, never find yourself indebted to a Fae. And most of all, number 3,
the thing that I can't remember because I put it in my notes and didn't put it in my words. I'll find it.
Name?
Usually, yes.
Or like, don't eat anything they offer you.
I feel like it was something specific to this.
And number 3, the most important one, never take a Fae at their word. They're very good at telling you what you want to hear. They may not be able to lie, but they can certainly obscure the truth.
It just sounds like good rules to keep in mind for anyone.
Grandma Nana snorts at you.
Oh, well, there are so many skeptics. Fine, don't mind me. I'm going to bed. I've had enough of this.
And she
Wait, hold on. I thought you were staying the whole night, right?
Grandma Nana like straight up laughs at you and says,
I'm not on watch, dear. I was trying to finish my knitting.
And
So you just came and scared half the people, not me, but half the people here, and you're gonna go to bed.
What happens if you do? What happens if you do things? One of those things with the Fae. What are the consequences?
Grandma Nana like is putting away her knitting because she actually has been there for like a very long time. She literally was just staying up knitting and just happened to be in this area while you guys were sitting down taking watch. And she looks at Uriel as you ask your question, and she says,
Why, you might find yourself stuck in the Fae realm. They might kidnap you or change you into something, or in some cases, they might grant you a wish. But that wish may not be what you're looking for.
Thank you. I guess good night. She kind of like slowly slinks back behind the horse.
You see Grandma Nana gather up her knitting and put it in this big basket that she has with her knitting needles, and she gives Dante a look and a huff and says, you young Dante need to pay attention to how you address your elders.
Well, what's your true name then?
What was it? Grandma Nana laughs at him and walks away, starts walking away, and she looks back at Riel and she says to you, Riel,
and you, young lady, can't hide behind your horse or your brother forever.
The horse probably won't be here forever, so that makes sense.
And as you say this, as to her retreating frame, as she does the old lady walk, you know how old ladies kind of do the little side shuffle where they're holding their stuff. She does the little side shuffle to her Vardo and gets in, and her little Vardo shudders a little bit as she enters, and Grandma Nana is gone. It's just you and some of the adultier adults hanging out in front of the campfire. So what do you guys do?
I look at the small horse girl. Don't worry. Your brother and your horse will be here to protect you long after that Nana gone. All right. Look at that. Look at that walk.
Maybe just
a month or two.
Look
Probably
over.
pushing 30 or something.
That's what
Ouch. She looks over at Dante again and just kind of blinks and nods once, goes back behind the horse, looks at her brother and just goes, are people always this strange when you're traveling? Is this a not watch thing? Is this every caravan? Is home just kind of weird? I don't understand what's going on with a lot of these people.
Your brother kind of folds his arms over his shoulders and looks at you and says, I think that you run into some weirdos on the road. I'm glad we're only a day out from the town. We just have to get through tonight.
That one threw bread at me, in the dirt, and then thought I was gonna eat it. It was really weird. Do people usually eat out of the dirt or throw
what?
People? Is that polite to throw food at people and then
He moves past you and immediately confronts Dante and says, did you throw food at my sister?
I just was asking for
was she's some kind of beggar?
Okay, hold on.
Wait. Listen, hold on. I watched the whole thing. It wasn't like that at all. We shouldn't be infighting right now. He threw the sandwich at her to help her out. She looked hungry. It was not a big deal.
Like a boss. If it wasn't for the wind, it would have gone right in her hand. It was a perfect
Maybe next time just try handing it to her so it doesn't fall in the dirt and get nasty and give a bad impression.
Okay,
also, you probably shouldn't
dirt don't hurt.
You probably shouldn't throw it even if they're starving, though.
My dad used to play catch with me, so normally it would fall right in her if not for the wind.
With a piece of bread.
Yeah.
The wind resistance is a lot different when it's the bread versus the ball, and it's just then she gets her flushes and kind of slinks back by the horse again.
And it's sourdough too, so it's the wind really picks it up, it interacts with the wind in a very peculiar way.
While you're having this argument with Riel's brother, Riel, you hear something as the charm that you're holding makes a high-pitched ping, almost as if it had been struck.
Has this happened before?
This has never happened to you before.
She jumps again. Fortunately, the thing is on a string around her finger. This is why. And kind of looks at it.
As you jump, there is a thunderous sound within the forest, and it's so loud that the vibrations start shaking snow from the trees. Please roll a brawn check to see if you stay on your feet, or rather in your seat if you're sitting down.
Riel's staring at this thing I didn't do it. It wasn't me. I don't know what happened.
Tries not to look incriminating, but looks incriminating.
Yeah, 100%. No poker faces.
Oh, I actually have to roll a brawn check for these two idiots. No, crap.
Don't worry, I know what a D12 looks like. the number of times I rolled a D12 instead of a D20. We don't talk about it.
It's fine. All right, what did everybody roll? While we wait for that one blonde nerd over there.
I'm sorry.
All of us are rolling?
There we go.
Sorry.
Yes,
Yep.
everybody
I
needs
got
to
a
roll.
5.
A bronze?
5. Yeah.
Seven.
bronze.
You got an 8.
Okay, so anyone who rolled a 7 or higher, you manage to stay on your feet. You sort of vibrate a little bit, and you're like, oh crap, what was that? Anybody who rolled underneath the 7, you are actually like knocked out of your seat. You're jostled to the point of like, whoa, and you fall. You can still catch yourself. It's not like it's the kind of fall that happens when you're startled, and not the kind of fall that's so strong that you're blasted away. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's actually what happens to your dad, Minerva. He falls over in that sort of like, whoa. And your brother manages not to stay on his feet, Riel, and catch you at the same time, like steady you, not
She
catch
got a
you.
12.
So she's good. She's
like,
fine.
studying him.
Let's
Like,
put it this
really
way.
weird.
His brotherly instinct is to grab hold of you and keep you from falling. And he does that even though you didn't need it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, great.
He's like holding his arm like, who's helping who here? And she's still confused.
And he's like, sorry, habit. And
no, it's fine.
And your dad, meanwhile, is like on his butt in the dirt, like, what? Minerva. What did you roll, by the way?
I rolled a 4, so I also fell over.
Cool, you fell on him.
Just a big
of snow. And the first thing that Devin, your brother, says to Uriel is, what was that?
I don't know. There's a weird sound out in the trees. I had no idea anything was weird before that. Not at all. There was nothing that happened. And she's like got the like little bauble like in her hand. And she's like got it pressed into her curly hair, so it's kind of hard to see. It just I don't know. It was just I just looked in that direction, and then there was the loud noise, and then the ground shook.
It must have been the wind.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, that's weird, right? That's weird. Is that normal? I don't know. These trees are weird.
We might want to look into that. That it could be something that endangers the caravan.
Hey, old
It
man.
has nothing to do with any of us.
Hey, old man. Are you referring to Minerva's dad?
Yeah. Hey, old man. You've been around this planet for several decades. Do you have any idea what that was?
He's in the process of helping Minerva get to her feet because he's still your dad. He's an overbearing parent, regardless of how old you are. And he says, "Excuse me, do I look that old to you?"
At least 26.
He just sort of closes his eyes and is like, "I've never heard something like that in my life. I know that if my lady is in danger, I'm going to be in trouble, though. So we're going to have to take a look at what exactly that was, just to make sure that the caravan's not in danger."
All right.
It better be Faye.
No, Minerva, no, don't put that evil on us.
Minerva immediately is like, so
It's more interesting than this.
dang.
I don't know. I was enjoying everyone's company. That's whatever.
Devin grabs a scrap of wood and begins to light a torch. All right, who's coming along then?
I'll go into the unknown. What's the stuff?
Yeah,
Into the dark.
I mean, it's just a forest, and that might have Fae in it, but we now know what not to do if we find Fae. And I think we should, maybe, possibly, could be, will be fine. I think.
I mean, it's our job. Our job. She's like swinging to the horse a little bit more to know what's going on, to keep everyone safe, right? But I mean, does anyone need to stay back here in case it's like a trap, or do we all need to go into the forest?
No, I sorry, Adora, go ahead.
I don't think it's good to leave children by themselves without adult supervision.
I agree. We should probably stay together.
I think what they're trying to do here is they're protecting the older people whose experience is more valuable and sending the young ones out to investigate these dangers. It's a very tactical move, and I applaud them for it. But that's us, right? Let's do this. Let's do this.
All experiences are important, even if they're young. I mean, I've met many young children who have wise insights that even Grandma Nana has to, compliment.
The world has a skewed perspective.
Devin pipes in and says, "Look, if you guys have if we need to leave someone behind, I can stay behind. You can go with Minerva's dad, or not. Does he know you, Minerva? I don't think he knows you. So you can go with the old man there.
Yeah, we should just go with the old man.
With all of them, with all of the people we have not had the pleasure of meeting yet. Okay.
Oh, well,
right.
What choice do we have? We have to see what's going on. But
right.
Dante does bring up a point. We can't leave the campfire unattended either. I mean, we could wake up Grandma Nana.
We should.
No, I have a bad feeling about that. Yeah, no.
I just want to defend my dad really quickly here. He's at least 26. He's not
Your
that
dad
old.
is just in a corner being all upset because he's an old man.
I think
just the span of time concerning that age, right? Can you imagine just the amount of years spent? Oh, man.
26 is not very old. I will be that in a few years. I don't think that's very old at all, and I'm not very old.
It's almost twice.
Your dad,
as I am.
in a huff, grabs the torch from Devin's hand and says, "All right, let's get going. Enough of this." And he walks out. He starts stomping out of the camp, with the expectation that you guys are going to follow.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. We have to protect the camp, and she starts following behind, I'm focusing on this, and Acorn follows behind and looks at Devin and looks around the camp and just shakes his head oh boy.
Devin says, "Just be careful," and he calls to Acorn, "Look out for her, okay?" And Acorn kind of wickers in response.
Goodbye.
I'm always careful.
Goodbye, Dante, dramatically, but not dramatically. So, and Eudora and Marie, are you also joining the? Okay.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll help watch the back. I'm pretty good at that for hunting formations anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Mary,
Horse Girl's brother, for watching the fire.
Hunter girl, hunter lady.
Yeah.
You have a weapon?
I got a bow.
You've killed before then, right?
Yeah, not a lot, but yeah.
I guess I haven't. So if we're going in the territories unknown for myself, it's nice that someone has spilt blood and knows what must be done if it must.
Yeah.
From behind you hear, "It's Devin," as you retreat into the forest with the brother giving you his name. So you can call him
Devin.
Just Acorn's brother. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And we are going to find out what you find in this forest after this incident. After our break, we reached a point in the story where we're going to take a quick 15-minute break. So take some time to refill your drink, grab a snack, and we'll see you in a few. Bye. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Pocket Dragon. I hope you refilled your drink and grabbed a snack. We are ready to continue our holiday-themed one-shot called Northern Lights with our fabulous friends at the table. And that said, when we left our teen adventurers, they were headed into the woods to investigate the source of a loud noise that had been so loud and so vicious that it shook snow from the trees. So currently you are following Minerva's father as he holds a torch, as I hold a cat, out in front of him, lighting the way in the darkness so that you can see the way in front of you. He says to you, "I am not sure where this road is going to lead, so just stick with me, okay? Stay behind me." You got it?
Oh, okay.
Sounds
And
good.
he looks at you, Eudora, and says, "Can you also keep an eye out for anything weird or anything out of the ordinary?"
Okay, that shouldn't be a lot of things, right? I mean, it's the woods. But if there's stories of Fae, would Fae be normal in the woods? Maybe not that.
So, they're haunted by Fae. So
I don't think that, well, Fae
It
would
was-
be normal in the forest, but I'll keep an eye out for it.
are you really gonna believe that lady's superstitions?
Absolutely. Grandma Nana's never been wrong yet.
He takes a deep breath because he is not a superstitious man. He is all logic and reason, and he just sort of goes, "Just let me know if something looks odd to you, okay?
Okay.
It's probably a bear. You've got experience with bears, right?" He looks at Marie.
Yeah, not great ones, but yeah.
All right, that helps. Seriously, dude?
Oh.
And he starts rolling my dice for me. I'm like, "You're not helping. You're not a bear. You're not a bear, buddy." Anyway, all right. So with that, you proceed forward. Riel,
Uh-oh.
that's when you hear it again. That same sound that you heard just before the blast.
She has been really intently focused on the Minerva's dad and Eudora in the front and like listening to them. And when it goes off, she kind of jumps again and just
Who
like
is
knocks into Acorn.
What's your and so we know Eudora and Minerva's father are in the front. What's essentially your marching order? Like how are we walking in the forest beyond that?
I'm definitely not too far behind my dad. I'm probably,
Okay.
I mean, if somebody is going to be like right beside him, I'll be like right
Mhm.
behind him.
Okay.
I'm likely in the back since even though I'm not the best hunter, I at least have a lot of experience with growing up in the woods.
Okay. And Dante?
Dante's lollygagging. He is after the stories, he's now thinking about all the possibilities of the things that could be lurking in the darkness and like which one of them would be picked off first, and you know.
He's creating his own horror movie in his head.
Yeah.
Amazing.
He's just like, yeah.
Okay.
That's Mitch. That's Mitch,
Uh,
baby.
All right. So
Riel's as far back as she can get without slipping ahead of Marie, because technically Marie should be in the back, but she is just
cool. So
I do think
that means Marie and Dante, since you're the closest to Riel, and Riel, you're going to do this also. I would like the three of you to roll a brains check, please.
I have those. Maybe. Well, at least my character does, actually.
16.
Okay.
16 as well, actually.
Okay. I gotta check my difficulty table.
Do
So
we
give me a
do
minute.
like the Dragon Ball Z like
Kamehameha? Anyway. No, it's not that. I'm actually trying to find the DM difficulty table on this book. Hold on.
make it less than what we said, please?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Yes.
I mean, it is pretty high since you use all the dice.
Oh man, this is just like the thing.
There it
We gotta
is.
figure out which one of us is.
So logicking it out. So you've got a 16. Riel, what did you roll?
Also 16.
So it's two 16s. And Marie, what did you roll?
It better be a 16.
That would be amazing.
What did you roll, Kayla? You're scratching your head like you rolled a 1.
Oh, you didn't have me roll. Or did you want all of us?
Oh, yes, I wanted all three of you to roll,
Ooh.
please. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I actually have decent points for brains. Let's see. I got an 8. That's good. For me.
Okay.
Half the
Okay,
My
so
max
let's
is a
see.
10, okay?
Okay. With two 16s and an 8. You keep walking, but you soon realize that your way is no longer illuminated by a torch.
Oh, no.
you're
Mhm.
walking on moonlit snow. You were walking in the same direction. Like you were literally, you had these people within eyesight, and now they're not there anymore.
Is Minerva still around? Is
Like
it
if you
just
listen for them, you can't hear them.
is it
Like
just
there's no
Acorn's sister and Mary?
Acorn
Marie.
sister and Mary.
Marie?
Marie.
That took me a second.
Yes.
No, that's good.
It's just the three of you. You're walking along.
Riella's like intently, like, but as secretively as she can, like looking, use Acorn and looking at this, like, the little glass thing. And she's like so focused on that she does not notice that things are weird right away.
Everyone, we should stop.
Acorn is getting anxious. Acorn kind of stops moving and looks around, like they're confused and aren't sure what's going on.
She kind of bumps into Acorn. Oh, what's wrong? What's wrong?
Shh, do you guys hear anything? I
The sound
don't.
of our beating hearts.
It's
hear
utterly
really good
silent.
hearing.
There is no, you can't hear birds. You can't hear anything.
Wait, am I missing?
We'll hold that thought. We're going to get to you.
Okay.
Where did everybody go?
I think they're gone.
Did I get
Marie.
distracted sometime? Did I just...
No. Whatever is happening, it's happening to us.
Uh-oh.
While you're trying to figure out what happened, we're going to cut back to Minerva's father, Minerva, and Eudora, who are continuing on their merry way with the torch lit light in front of them. Would you two roll a brains check for me as well?
That is a 6.
Okay.
It is a 7.
You are so lucky Minerva's dad is on it because you rolled high.
Thanks, Dad. Love Dad.
Oh wait, no.
And
That's an 8 because we get a plus to certain characters depending on which one you picked, right?
you know what? I forgot the adversity tokens. So yes, you do get a plus. Anyone who failed a roll previously, I don't think anyone has, but just in case you
I
fail a
did.
roll, make sure
Minerva
you
failed
add.
a roll.
Okay, add an adversity token to your stack.
Okay. I have a +1 to my brain, so it's actually an 8 instead of a 7.
Okay, cool.
Well, then I have a +1 to my 6, so now it's a 7.
Hey! Not too bad.
All right. Well, with your dad's help, you hear him. He sees it first and then draws your attention to it and says, "Hey, hold on a second. Do you see that in the snow?" And he holds his torch light down to the snow so that you guys can have a better look. And glittering in the snow is what looks like glitter, basically. The modern day equivalent would be glitter. It's like a shimmering, almost powdery finish within the snow.
Oh, Dad, it's just the shine of like the moonlight on the snow. It's not that big of a deal.
But then the
And I go-
rest of the snow would have that, right?
Oh, Minerva was just gonna try to make like a snowball out of it.
Eudora's just trying to justify that, like if this is just shiny snow because of the moonlight, all the snow would be shiny. And
Okay, and Minerva, when you go to make the snow,
Trying to be with cats is an adventure, especially on stream.
for sure, when they're, oh god, this particular kitten, when he wants attention, is just so bad. All right, when you roll the highest value of the die and thus roll again when the roll explodes. So your father takes the torch and says, "No, Minerva, don't do that. Look." And he holds the torch down to the snow, and you see the glittering trail of this powder substance going off into the darkness.
Okay, so we got to follow it. Naturally, Dad, we have to follow it. We can't just not see something. Probably the most exciting, like most interesting kind of trail we've seen since joining this caravan and not follow it.
He looks at you,
Is
and then
that
he
a
looks at Eudora.
I think it's best to not get lost. Do you know where we are in the forest as comparative to where we were in the caravan?
Absolutely not. But that's the fun of it, right?
And that's when your dad looks behind you and realizes, where are the others?
They should be right behind. Oh no, they're gone. Oh no. It's just like the time I lost the kid at the stream. Oh no.
Well, it's not all is not lost. He points out into the Black Hollows towards the orangish light of the caravan. We're not that far from the camp. I can still see the light of the campfire. It's just where the others went that I'm worried about. And he looks back towards the trail.
Think maybe they notice another glittery snow trail and follow Minerva's curious lead of
Well, that Marie is a hunter. Maybe she noticed something in the snow and went to check that out.
we should definitely do that and follow your lead because you're the oldest. Sir.
Yay, the adult to your adult suddenly needs an adult to your adult.
The most adult adult.
And he takes a deep breath and just tries to straighten himself out. I'm sure there's a logical explanation for this weird substance. Maybe someone's doing a test run of something in Todmorden. We're not that far out from the town, right? And he looks at you both. Let's just be careful and follow the trail for now. Stay behind me, okay? He's still really worried and doesn't want any harm to come to either of you.
Mhm.
But he, like, it's either follow this or go back and risk the caravan being in danger. So he's the man trying to do his job, which that much you know about your dad is he's always going to try to do his job first.
I know, Dad.
So-
I know.
And he goes off into the darkness. And we're going to cut from you back to our group in the woods. So, sorry, I just read the chat. Always split the party. So you guys find yourselves in a beautiful, the landscape's beautiful. It's moonlit. The snow is glittering. It's, for all intents and purposes, it's lovely here. You just have no idea where here is.
Just don't want to build a summer home there or anything. Sorry. Is it just in like an open area, or are we still in woods? They just look different.
Why don't you guys roll another brains check for me?
Oh boy.
17.
Okay.
9.
8.
Okay. So, Dante. Wait, what did you roll, Marie? Sorry.
9.
9. And then Brielle rolled a what?
8.
8. Okay, yeah, Dante. Definitely Dante. Dante, you've done this pilgrimage before. You know the way to Todmorden like the back of your hand. So your first inclination is to look for the fire, the big campfire. Look for the orange light of the campfire, see how far away you are from camp. And that will help you figure out where you are in the woods. You do indeed see the orange glow of a campfire in the distance.
Oh.
So what that tells you is that you might be closer to the camp than you think, but something about the campfire doesn't seem right. It seems like it's significantly smaller than the campfire that you know is usually built in the Vardo circle.
There's a fire thingy over that way. I think if we continue towards it, we might find hopefully the next place in our destination. I'm sad about Minerva and the other one.
They're all dead.
A fire thing? You don't think they're dead, do you?
Most often than not, they die. People get lost and separated out here in the cold.
Do people die a lot on the way to Todmorden?
I don't want to talk about it. The fire's over here, though.
Is it usual to have a lot of other camps around the caravan? Or
I think
is
we
that-
might.
Do we know
Just
if it's
be-
friendly?
I think it's our destination. I'm pretty sure. We might have just been closer than they thought. Snow kind of obscures everything, right?
Maybe
lucky.
let's go really quietly in case they're not friends.
Yeah.
So you're gonna try to do this in a stealthy manner, try not to get detected.
Yeah, I
it's
pull my
better
socks
to be
up.
even for our
Yes.
friends.
Oh, Marie and Riel, remember to put an adversity token on your sheet because you
Oh,
both
right.
failed that roll. Minerva, I think, did you fail a roll as well?
I failed 2 rolls. So
2 adversity
I've
tokens.
yeah, and I've spent 1 adversity token. So
You have 1 left.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have you guys roll a brawn.
6.
12.
Okay.
But it is exploding, right? I got an 8 on my D8, and then I rolled again.
Yeah, you got an
right?
8, so you can roll it again and then add
Yeah,
the
so
result
12.
to that. Okay, so you got a 12. So you exploded your
punched a
die, and then Marie,
shell.
what did you roll?
Oh, I got a 6. So that'd be the same thing.
On a D6?
Yeah.
So
Nice.
yeah, you exploded your roll. You get to roll again. Add the 6 to the new number.
This is the winning group.
I have a
This
9.
is why we live. The other group is gonna
So you got a 9, a 12, and what was the other one?
10.
For Riel? 10. Okay. Did you explode your die?
I sure did not.
Okay, cool.
He's just
So
better than us.
collectively as a group, you're very quiet. This is probably the one time, Marie, that your training as a hunter actually kicks in. You're used to sneaking around in the woods to not startle the animal that you're tracking, Dante. And for you, you're just you spend a lot of time surprising people by being under wagons, and just generally kind of moving about the camp in a pretty quiet fashion. So this is also pretty easy for you. You know who I need to roll for?
The horse.
I was gonna say-
Acorn. I forgot about Acorn. Why don't you roll a D4 for Acorn, Riel? I'll let you do it. It's your little NPC.
That's a 4 out of 4. So
Did the horse just explode their dice?
Yeah, go horsey.
fortunately, the
That's
dice
Tony.
is not himself.
Good.
So that is that's a 1. So I guess that's a 5.
Okay, cool. So all 3 of you do a really good job at concealing yourselves, but Acorn, despite Acorn's best efforts, they're trying to be stealthy. They would have been doing a great job if they hadn't stepped on a branch just as you were entering the circle of the campfire.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
And the person who you were approaching, you realize as you approach that there is a man sitting there with his back to the fire, also smoking an elaborately carved wooden pipe. He turns around to look at you, and he says, "And you are?" He doesn't seem to be bothered by your presence.
How old is he? Like ancient, like Nana, or old, like Minerva's dad?
This
Or
looks to
older.
be a man in his early 40s.
Holy crap!
He's very
Relic.
well groomed. He's well groomed. He's got his hair is cut close to his head. He's got streaks of gray on the sides of it. He is bearded, but it is a very carefully manicured beard. His eyes. One moment, please. I'm going to look at my notes again because I have notes everywhere all the time. He seems to have a very angular face. Overall build, he's a bit tall and a little spindly, but he's richly dressed in these blues and blacks with the hair that you see that is not gray is black and his skin happens to have a very tan complexion to it. His eyes are his eyes are blue,
I
a very
look
deep
at,
shade of blue.
Marie.
Lost.
I don't know what we're supposed to do now, but you're the hunter. This is your domain.
I don't think we're hunting him.
I don't know this person. Do you know this person, Acorn's sister?
Riel is sitting there trying to get out words, and then here's that with
Sputter,
super
sputter.
confused. And she like looks over at Dante, and she's like, "No, not this isn't the time. No, we're lost. I think I don't. It's not. This isn't the city, right? It's
This is not what I thought it was.
Did you hear a loud sound? You're like pulls in a little closer to Acorn a while ago.
The man kind of taps he flips his pipe over, he taps out the stuff that's in it a little bit and sets it aside. And he stands up slowly, revealing how tall he is. He is a fairly tall fellow.
Like 5 foot?
Yeah, that's it. No, he's around 6'2", and he looks at you all with the bearing and demeanor of a noble-born person, and he says, he folds his arms over his chest, and he says, "You didn't come here by accident."
I can assure you we did. We got separated from our friends. Have you seen anybody else come in? I'm really sorry.
Sure, we did.
That was too much at once. Why don't
Where are
you
you
guys
sleeping?
have a seat by the fire? And you can see at the question of like, where are you sleeping? You can see that there's a small tent set up back there. Like for all intents and purposes, this is just a single person camp,
Okay.
not the caravan that you're used to.
Riel leans slightly over to where Dante is. Do you know what the fate? Do you know what the fate look like? Do we know if we should be like I don't. Where are we?
So
I was told they were small.
my parents used to say that they would snatch up children in the middle of the night and replace them with fetches of some horrific creations.
Are
meant to
you
be
whispering
like
this, or is this something that this is like a conversation that you're having in front
It
of
is
you?
This is very whispered, at least on Riel's end. Like
it's
very
a teenage whisper.
Okay.
Riel's even quieter than usual.
Do you guys take a seat by the fire? Like he's offered, because he's offered you like to come sit by the fire.
What's your name? I don't sit by anyone I don't know the name of.
He smiles at you, and he says, "You can call me Duke."
Duke what? Duke of what? Duke like your name's Duke? That's
Duke?
both a title and a name.
Don't Dukes usually live in like castles or so or something?
Yeah. Yeah,
She's
they're supposed
flushing.
to.
He lifts up. He goes to grab his pipe, and he just seems like very tired, and kind of looks from Riel to Dante and then to Marie, and says, would you like a seat by the fire?" Completely ignoring their logical questions.
Marie, you're the oldest of us, so I think you should take a seat first.
Okay,
Pushes
but
her in
guys,
front.
just in case, don't remember what the old lady said. Don't
I
thank
forgot
them,
everything
even though it
she
seems
said.
rude. She said not to thank them. So just in case this is a fae and the fae are tall, don't thank them. Not until we know. I don't know how we're gonna know, but not until we know.
Ask.
Is that rude?
No ruder than trying to sneak up on an old man, which we did. So
We weren't trying to sneak up on him, but okay, I'll go sit down.
and ask too, and I'll sit behind Marie.
Mr. Duke, sir. This is gonna sound a little weird, but you wouldn't by chance be the fae that we've heard about in these woods?
The man patiently like packs tobacco like in his pipe and like kind of lights it, kind of picks up a bit of the fire and with his pipe and lights it. And he looks at you for a minute with these deep blue eyes and says, "Who told you about fae in these woods?"
The oldest, most wrinkliest, like leather tanned and left in the sun for a decade. Attached to the most saggy and soggy of bones. They creak. Old Nana was her name, I think. What? I'm just being descriptive, right? We need to be descriptive if we're trying to identify this person to this person.
The man blinks at you and he lets out a puff of smoke. And he says to you, "I see. It was an elder."
Yeah.
Old person, yeah.
So you're traveling with a caravan?
What are you traveling with a caravan?
No, I work by myself.
Just so you know, Marie here, she's taken out several people on her own. She might look small and inexperienced, but she'll protect us if need be, die for us if she must.
Would you like to roll a charm check?
Yeah, I would.
I believe charm is the one that you use for like to intimidate people, right? Am I
Yeah, let me
correct
get
in that?
my D4 here.
Riel is like
no.
taken Acorn and very slowly and as inconspicuously as possible gone onto the far side of the fire and then is just standing leaning against him and has not sat down yet.
Oh, I have to tell you, I forgot to mention this. Acorn does not want to move from their spot.
Oh, well, in that case.
You trying to move them and them moving with you is they're frozen in place. They do not want to move.
She like starts to go, Acorn, I think it's rude if we don't go near the fire. And it's
the horse shakes their head like, no, don't make me do it. Nope, no.
What's wrong? And she kind of goes around the front of Acorn and like takes his like massive head in her hands and like looks at him and goes, what is it?
And without warning, Acorn rears up for the first time ever, kind of intimidating you, and whinnies and takes off into the darkness.
She like goes
utterly
like,
spooked. The horse has been spooked.
Getting trying to get out of the way, but like not very well because she's never had her horse do that before.
This is a snap decision, actually. Oh man, you can't use other people's adversity tokens for that because you're reacting in the moment. I would like you to choose fight or flight. Actually, no, in this case for you, it's flight. It would make more sense for you to do flight to see if you can get out of the way. I hope this makes sense. I'm trying to navigate
you're good.
These stats as well as I can.
Some things.
Yeah, seriously. Sorry, what do we use the adversity tokens for again?
You add it to your roll. So if you have an adversity token, you can add it to your roll. But other people can help you by giving you their adversity tokens in a planned decision. So if you have time to like think out your actions, people can give you their adversity tokens. Gotcha. A snap decision is something that's done in the moment. So people cannot give you their adversity tokens. You can only use the ones you have.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, okay. This is fun. I'm glad that I made flight her lowest stat.
Suddenly you're filled with regrets.
This is gonna end well. Look, this build I thought made sense and was kind of funny. That's what I thought.
Listen, if Belle could survive Philippe losing his shit, you're fine.
That is true. I mean, to be fair, I have had to calm down a horse that is rearing a number of times, but it's not fun. And we
got two horse girls here. You know what's up. So
I was a lot taller and stuff than this.
Yeah. This is a really bad spook. Like when a horse spooks real bad. Just be glad you weren't on him.
No, on is better. On is better. That's fine. I can stick on it on that. It's
I learned how to fall. I'm fine. Now I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, right. That's the first thing they teach you is how to safely fall and get off.
Yes.
So okay, sorry. Yeah, that's it.
Oh no.
That's a 2.
Okay. Well, the good news is one, you get an adversity token. So there's that.
So
and I don't know. I do know. It's in my book somewhere. Because I had my difficulty table up. There we go. So if you only rolled a 2, okay. Thank God for these tables, because honestly, I would be like, oh, I'd be choking right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens? For the first time in your life, not Philippe. The horse is not named Philippe. God, I'm thinking Beauty and the Beast. Sorry. Acorn, for the first time in your life, Acorn actually hurts you. Not in a way that is devastating, but like their hoof kind of clips your cheek and it takes a little bit of your flesh with it. So you now have a gash in your cheek before the horse spooks and bolts.
Oh boy. I am assuming that with like the force of all this, she ends up ass down in the snow.
So wait, so she falls on her butt in the snow?
Oh, sorry. I was just saying. I assume with the force and how small she is, that she kind of it knocked her off balance.
Well, I mean, this complete, like, Marie and Dante, you guys hear this and can see this happening, as well as the man that you are currently trying to talk to. So
she kind of sits there watching Acorn, just like in total shock, like, what just happened? And she like very subconsciously puts like a hand up to her cheek and watches him. And after a second, she just goes, Acorn, where, what is going on?
Hey, are you okay? Are you hurt?
He's never done anything like that. Not even when he was a fool. He's always been a pretty mellow horse. I don't understand. Where did he go? We have to find him. We can't let him get away. He's scared.
Yeah, animals can sense danger usually. Maybe we should go try to find our friends.
a low chuckle escapes the man, and he says, "Most animals are pretty spooked when they encounter a fae." And his voice changes. His voice changes to something more accented, and he looks at you, and his eyes go from a deep blue color to a supernatural blue. It's the kind of blue that's more of an electric blue than a deep blue. And that said, I would like everyone to roll a brains check, please. This is a contested roll, so just as an FYI. Hey, this is a contested roll, so it is going to determine. So if you roll higher than him, that's going to determine what happens.
I rolled a 2. I hope I win.
Cool. All right. 13. Mm-hmm. And what did you roll? 13.
We just are following each other a lot on these rolls, on the same page.
So, Dante, you are charmed.
Oh no!
Yes.
Oh, not our brains.
He's now pulled you under his influence. Riel and Marie, you feel something take hold of you, and Marie, in that moment, you hear that sound again, the ping that you heard from your amulet. Or not Marie, sorry, Riel. I'm looking at Riel. I think it said Marie, my bad. So Riel, in that moment, you hear the ping of your amulet again. And whatever was trying to take hold of you doesn't work.
She still holding a hand, just kind of looks at it.
And Marie, for you, same thing. You feel something try to take hold of you, but it also doesn't work.
I don't. What is that? Do you feel that?
Yeah, it feels good.
Really weird. I don't understand. What is? She's just a little bit in shock.
Look, just sit around the fire. All right, it's warm. The others, hopefully, we see them again, right? But if you go out there into the dark, you'll find something, but you won't return.
You're not in any danger here. That's what the man says.
If my character's strength is intuition, can she tell something's wrong?
If your character does what?
Sorry, if my character's strength is intuition, can she tell that something is wrong with Dante?
This is what happens when you try to, you do D&D, because there's no insight check here in Kids on Bikes. So I'm trying to go through what would you roll for that?
Yeah,
finding the equivalent of it. I love looking at people's character sheets because that helps me. I'm gonna say let's go ahead and do one of your character's strengths to be insightful? Yes. Okay, so that because that's the thing that you pick. Yeah. Kids on Bikes, so many new rules. All right. I know, right? Yes. So because you're insightful, you can tell that you can look at Dante and you can see that something is not right there.
He's smiling.
His eyes are
with a
glazed. Yeah,
sparkle.
his eyes are glazed over. Yeah, you can describe to me what that looks like, Dante. Actually, you should be the one to do this.
I feel like Dante is smiling. He feels comfortable for the first time. He looks maybe even jovial with like the left side of his lip just kind of twisting up to a slight smile. Yeah, he's looking at this man with admiration and respect.
Very shakily, Riel gets up and kind of tentatively walks around behind Marie. There's something wrong with there's something wrong with Dante. I think
I
there's
don't think
something
I've
weird
seen
going
him
on.
smile before. I'm a little weirded out.
A spell?
He's smiling. I don't know what that is. Maybe we should really
Yeah, that's the
get
scariest
off
thing I
to
think I've
find
ever
our
seen.
friends, Dante. We're missing friends. We should go get them.
You want to
They're
go
not
out?
here.
It's dark outside.
I
Right?
didn't
We're
say
on
you could
watch though.
leave.
We gotta take care of the caravan.
We
Didn't
got
say we could
The
leave.
Fae very quietly says, "I didn't say you could leave."
Take out my pipe. I'm an adult too.
I mean, my horse ran off, and she kind of like moves her hand, and if it took a chunk of flesh, I'm sure it is bleeding quite badly, and she's kind of shaky as she puts her hand back on her face.
He walks up to you. He stands up, leaves Dante, and just sort of puts his hand over Dante's shoulder in almost a fatherly way.
Oh,
If it
no.
wasn't for the fact that this Fae has charmed Dante, and he's obviously under the influence, and he's just making sure of that, and walks towards you and Marie.
Look, we don't we have to. It's really important that that horse is I've had him his whole life. We all need to
He
go.
walks around Marie like a dancer, just kind of ignoring her. Like he's not expecting her to do anything.
Sorry, Riel or Marie? Sorry.
No, Marie. He's actually because
Okay.
you're standing behind Marie, correct?
Yeah.
So he's walking around Marie like a dancer to get to you, Riel.
Hey, Duke, whatever your name is, leave the girl alone. She's hurt. Leave her alone.
Well,
those supernatural
Dad,
eyes glance at you.
Duke.
Sorry, go ahead, Dante. Finish your thought, and then I can.
Yeah, Dad. I mean Duke. Is reliable. Don't worry. He's here to help. Okay.
I'm not so sure about that.
Those supernatural eyes glance at you, Marie, and he says, "He's not wrong. I'm here to help. I would like you to roll brains again." And he reaches for you. He's going to start reaching for you, Riel, and your cheek.
Okay.
That's an exploded die
9.
for me.
Oh,
Double
no.
that. Cool. You're charmed. The man did 2 natural 20s. I'm sorry, Faye.
Wow. Were we both rolling, or was it?
Just Marie. He was focused on Marie, not Riel.
Okay.
So
Well,
so Marie, you are also charmed.
We don't.
Maybe this isn't too bad. Maybe let him help you. He's an adult.
Riel looks down at both of them and takes a couple of tentative steps backwards. But it's okay. I don't need help. I've worked with horses my whole life. I've been hurt before. We do need to go though. We do need to go get the horse before he gets too far. It's cold. And
at this point, he drops his mask now that Marie and Dante are both charmed of the accent of a normal person and why he tries to fit in. And you hear, I did not say you could leave, and you're not going to until I say so.
No.
And he waves his hand. He does kind of this with his hand, and the cut on your cheek heals itself.
What was that? I didn't ask you to do that. That's I need to go find my horse. And I'll.
Why don't you have a seat by the fire, lass, and we can have a little conversation with your friends.
And he waves to Marie and Dante, who are both charmed at the moment.
One of us. Come on.
It's really warm over here.
No, thank you. I don't really like sitting on rocks. It makes it gets my clothes dirty, and it's.
I've got a pal.
You'll only
No,
be eaten alive by wolves if you go out there.
No, I'm sure I'll be fine. I can climb trees. I'll find acorn, and it'll be fine. We'll get
So, Riel, I'm going to give you a choice here. You can choose fight, flight, or brains to roll.
Okay.
And that's going to determine what you do next, because you have your options are as follows. You can run now. You can I don't know if I'm doing this right, so please forgive me if this is terrible. But you can run now. You can try to, do something about this thing that he's trying to do to you, which would be fight. Or you can you can try to resist his charms.
Okay. So run, try to resist the charm. I'm sorry. What was the fight again? Figure out what's going on.
The fight is to basically like do something like push him or do something physical to try to break his concentration on you specifically.
Okay. And he's pretty close at this point.
Yeah. Kind of like a get away from me situation. Not necessarily a combat situation. Like get away from me, you dirty old man kind of situation.
Riel's kind of starting to panic, and she's looking where the horse went and around. I'm assuming there's not really like a great place like, oh, you just run and hide behind this wall or something. And she kind of sits there for a second, and she's looking at the other two. And she doesn't want to leave them behind either, because who knows what this guy's going to do. But as he's kind of getting close into her space, which she really hates, she, just kind of out of nowhere, she goes, I said, no, leave me alone. And she goes forward and she pushes him, and she is quite strong.
Okay, roll it. Let's see what happens.
Throwing bales of hay and working with horses. It'll do it. Okay, so I'm rolling fight, right?
Yes. I think.
Oh, okay. That's a 9.
Okay. Give me one second.
Almost.
I'm gonna roll up fight and see how combat rules work. Just real quick, because I think there's a specific way I'm supposed to rule this. Combat encounters. Blah blah blah. Attack first and okay. So I think I have to roll something as well. Hold on. Because it says you can attack first and hope to be a better fighter. So I've got to roll his fight. Yee. Okay. That's the guy I'm using. Cool. And you said you rolled a 9?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You successfully shove him backwards. And he stumbles back. He stumbles back from the blow.
Now, you need to let my friends go right now. I don't want any trouble.
And he looks at you. He says, I don't have to do anything. I'm here for a purpose. And I think you're interfering at the moment.
Yeah. You don't have to, but you probably should. She's trying to like mimic like her older brother when he's telling people off.
The snow begins to melt around him. It's like a little circle around his feet. And he says, I really think you should have a seat by the fire, lass. It'd be worth it to hear my story.
Will you let them go? Whatever you're doing to him?
Are you making a deal with a fae there?
No, I'm just asking if what you're planning to do next.
If you're asking for a favor, in
Asking
exchange...
for a favor, I'm asking what you're planning.
Oh, what I'm planning. I can't tell you that.
As this way, she kind of remembers she saw the thing in her hand, and she's kind of like squeezing it because she's super nervous. But she is trying to pretend that she is not. Well, why don't you just tell your story from right over there then, if it's so important?
He looks at the charm in your hand and he kind of puts two and two together. You can see the wheels in his mind turning.
She's like trying to hide it, but she has tiny hands.
I see. So you have one of those.
What? One of what? She like puts it behind her back.
It could still be useful after all to me.
What do you mean useful? That's not a very kind way to talk to. And she kind of like hits some nerves again to talk about people, other people.
He turns away from you and walks back to the campfire, rejoining Dante and Marie, who have been charmed. You said you'd listen to my story, yeah?
She kind of narrows her eyes. I'm taking it under consideration.
Well, you can take the tale under consideration, and then we can have a talk. And we're going to cut from that scene over to our friends Minerva and Eudora and Minerva's dad, who are following the spooky glitter trail.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
Nothing.
Yep.
All right, and I would like for both of you to I'm trying to think what you would roll. Okay. For this, I think I'm going to have you guys roll brains, not brawn. I wish it was brawn, but no.
I'm going to spend an adversity token and bump that 5 up to a 6.
Woo! Okay.
Listen, any
Any help you
magnitude.
could get.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
I got a 9.
Okay. You got a 9. I'm gonna roll for you, Dad. Please, God, sir. Okay.
Sir.
Again, your dad's on it. Thank God he's good at his job.
We have an adulty adult. We'll be
Yes.
fine.
You have the advantage of having an adult your adult.
Thanks,
The
Dad.
other team doesn't have an adult your adult. They have a deadly fae, which is also fun.
Yeah, it's
you
fine.
know,
It's fine.
like you do.
It's fine.
So, your dad stops for a moment and holds the torch up as you follow the trail. Do you hear that?
No.
No?
There's it's like crying or something. And he starts following the sound and it takes you off the trail a little ways. And as you go into the trees, you see her. There's a little girl hiding behind a tree who looks utterly terrified. She's small, but you can tell that she's around Riel's age. She's 14, 15.
Mhm.
She just happens to
my
be
age.
really short for her height. Mm-hmm. Yes. You actually, Minerva's 15 and I think Riel's 14.
So I'm intuitive as well.
Okay.
Is there anything in particular that I would glean off of this?
One moment, please. Let me go to my notes. So this little girl, you can see that her hair is a very, very pale shade of blonde, almost to the point where it looks iridescent because it's so pale. And her eyes are just, her eyes are very dark. Her skin is a very deep shade of brown, and she seems to be wearing like a very simple dress in the cold. And in her hands are to her chest, like she's holding on to something very tightly.
I think Minerva is going to squat down, like kind of like, and sidle up to this person and just be like, "Hey, friend, how's it going? What brings you all the way out here by yourself?"
The little girl spooks and like kind of jumps away from you a little bit, surprised by your presence. And your dad is still holding the torch. He says, "Minerva, be careful." But the little girl's like, Who are you?"
I think as soon as the little girl talks and Eudora thinking it's like Minerva's closer in age, maybe children meeting with children is the better way to do it instead of like the adults coming in and scaring this child. But seeing that she's like not really properly dressed for this weather, Minerva's gonna shrug off the top layer of her like overdress, where it's the ones where they buckle and it's like the and reveal that she's wearing like pants under this instead of wearing like the normal lady attire. Once again, her father's pants made to fit her. And she pulls that off and it's got longer sleeves. And she kind of makes a wide motion to wrap it around this girl, but still having Minerva in between her and the small child. And then just kind of resting it on her shoulders and then like taking a step back.
As you do this, the little girl makes herself even smaller and like clutches whatever she's holding on to even closer and says, don't capture me, please don't capture me. I didn't do anything wrong. It was an accident.
It's okay. I just thought you might be cold and I was wearing an extra layer anyways, and you can have that. And you can keep it.
She looks up at you. She's, the cold doesn't bother me.
Anyway?
Thank you. Someone caught it. But thank you. And she looks at you guys. Who are you? What am I doing here?
Eudora looks at Minerva's dad.
I need an adult to your adult. And you can see that he's trying to assess the situation and figure out what the heck is happening. And he's like, you're in the middle of the Black Hallows Forest near the town of Todmorden. You have no idea what happened to you? And the little girl looks from Minerva to Eudora and then back at your dad, and she seems to place a little more faith and trust in you, Minerva, and Eudora than she does in Minerva's dad. And she says, I was trying to do my job. I was the last one. But then I fell.
Oh no.
Now I'm here.
Well, what's your job? I mean, Minerva turns to her dad and just says, I think she might be a little uncomfortable with you here, Dad. Do you mind like turning your back for just a second and like maybe keeping an eye out for anything that might be sneaking up on us? I think our new friend here might want like a safe space to talk among kids.
Your dad nods and kind of gets it and does as you ask. He turns around with his torch and just kind of keeps an eye out. And the little girl kind of relaxes. Yeah, go ahead, Eudora.
Upon hearing a safe space among us kids, Eudora takes a step back. And out of habit of not, Eudora's very superstitious. And upon hearing that there are fae in these forests, and that we turned our backs once, and our other group of kids disappeared, Eudora's just gonna hook like her fingers into the back of like Minerva's dad's shirt.
Okay.
And very much like a
I'm not losing this person. Gotcha.
Yeah, very much like a kid trying not to get lost in like a town, just like holding on to the back of it. Very childlike, but behind her own back. And then just letting Minerva take the lead with this little girl.
Okay. And you can see the little girl visibly relax as soon as the tall, broad-shouldered figure of your dad turns away from her. And she says, I was trying to hang this up. And she reveals to you what she's been holding in her hands. And in them is a beautiful, ornate spiral locket that's a brilliant white in the shape of a star.
This is beautiful.
It's my job. I'm supposed to take this and hang it. And then everything lights up.
Where are you supposed to hang it? I mean, if you need like nails or something, I'm sure we have some back at camp.
We're gonna pull an ET moment. She looks at you and points at the sky.
A tree? Like high up in a tree?
You could say that, but it's much higher than a tree, I think, at least than these.
Minerva is. Could I also intuit like she actually does literally mean the sky, or?
Because I really want to leave that up to your interpretation at this point. I feel like it would be a dice roll if you could intuit
same.
it. Let's do charm for this one.
Okay. Well, heck. I rolled a 5 again, and then I'm gonna add another adversity token to a 6.
Make it a 6.
And the number of adversity tokens I have does not change.
Doesn't change. Somehow you just keep refilling adversity tokens, which is like, yes, but also what? So what I will say is you're left with the feeling that there's more to what she's saying than just hanging this ornament on a tree. But you're not sure exactly what she means by that.
I don't want to do my job, but far be it from me to prevent somebody else from doing theirs. Do you want to do your job?
Uh-huh. My job's very important. If I don't do it, well, it wouldn't be very good, I don't think. I've never not done it before, so I'm not sure what would happen.
How long have you been doing your job?
Oh, a really long time.
Like 26
longer than
years?
I can. Huh?
Like 26 years?
Maybe. Ever since I can really remember. I've always helped hang lights, but I only just recently became responsible for my own. And that's why this is so important. I have to get this right.
That's so cool. That they trusted you to do something so important.
And while you're having this moment, Eudora, you hear it. The trees begin to shake and quiver a little bit.
Oh no. I have prepared as one of my strengths from seeing that happen, from having that happen to us once.
Mm-hmm.
Would I know that we were probably going to be knocked off of our feet from just an inference?
I don't think that you would infer that you'd be knocked off your feet, but you are aware that something either has happened or is going to potentially happen, and you need to act before it does.
Then Eudora is going to tug on the Minerva's dad's shirt behind her back, just a quick tug, and just also speak up, trying to keep that teacher, like school teacher voice of like not panicking, but this is important kind of tone, and just say, Minerva and new Minerva's friend, the trees are shaking. We should maybe group together and stay close. And Minerva's dad, unless you have a better plan, sir.
No, we should probably get back to the caravan. I haven't seen anything that other than this. Would you like to come with us? Oh, what's your name? And the little girl looks from the dad to Eudora to Minerva, and she says, Ari? My name is Ari.
Well, Ari, it's so much warmer by the fire, and we can get you like a blanket. There's a horse named Acorn over there. There's a bunch of hunters, but I promise they won't hurt you. They just like have like blankets and stuff. And there's a guy that's named Dante. He's a little weird.
He's a little
but he might be fun.
Ari kind of nods and looks around. I don't have a very good feeling about staying here. I don't think it's very safe.
Okay. Mr. Minerva's dad has a torch and can lead us back to safety because he's the adult here.
Yep.
But if you tell
She
me
reaches
how
out a
to-
little hand towards Minerva.
Oh,
Minerva takes Ari's hand and like squeezes it.
So are you guys gonna make your way back to camp? Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
I think
All right, so you guys go ahead.
I was
Please
going to say,
continue.
I think now that we're heading back, Eudora's going to kind of take the initiative to grab a stick, like a nice torch-sized stick, and light off of the flame of Minerva's dad's torch.
Yeah.
Just so we might have a little bit more light, because we have
Okay.
someone who's scared with us.
Okay, great. So, you guys all but run through the forest trying to get back to camp. You can see the orange glow of the caravan approaching, and you've never been happier to see the campfire that you were just at. And as you run towards the camp, Acorn bursts through the trees at the same time without Rio.
See, Ari, that's Acorn. That's the horse I was telling you about. He's really cool. Wait, hold on.
Acorn's supposed to have a person, I think. Acorn has two humans that usually tend to Acorn. No, this is okay.
As you say this, Acorn, who is still spooked, rears up and starts whinnying and just this horse is very upset. This is a horse who is spooked. He's still shaken by whatever he saw, and he's very much not okay.
Eudora's gonna look at Minerva's dad and also at Minerva and then at our new friend and just kind of like, we should probably try to work together to calm down Acorn. I think you said that's the horse's name. I'm better at doing this with children, but we could try it with a horse. One of Eudora's skills is encouraging group cooperation.
Okay, great. So the group goes to cooperate, and I guess her dad's like, all right, I'm not sure what to do. He's still holding the torch, like, what do This is not a serviceman who has worked with, and when I say serviceman, I mean like butler, like Fight Club. He's not someone who has equestrian experience. He's very much used to serving within a household with the daily duties that happen inside of a household, not necessarily in the stables. That's someone else's job. So he doesn't have any experience with this at all, with like calming livestock, for lack of a better term. Ari looks confused as hell. I don't know how to calm this animal. Minerva? It's all you?
I don't know how to calm a horse, but you know what? Let's try it. Hold on, Ari. You know what? We're gonna try. I'm stay right here. And then Minerva, lets go of Ari's hand, and then just tries to see if she remembers if Riel ever if she ever watched watched Riel like calm Acorn ever. I'd be willing to do some sort of roll for this.
Okay, so you're trying to remember if you you're trying to copy what Riel would do with Acorn, correct? Cool. Let me see. Let me see what we can do about that. I think you're all right. To calm the horse, I would like Eudora and Minerva, since you guys are the most active in this, to roll a charm together. You need to change dice from the expression on your face.
Mine
Straight to dice, Jill.
my D8 exploded, so I got a 12.
Great. You
Oh,
rolled 12.
good for you.
I'm sorry.
No,
What did
I rolled a 3, man.
Oh no. Do you want to add your adversity token to that and make it a 4?
That's a 4, baby.
It's a 4.
All right. So, with it, I'm gonna say that between the two of you, you make an active effort to calm Acorn,
Mm-hmm.
and you manage to get him to stop rearing up and being very destructive. But he's still dancing from foot to foot, the way a horse that's been spooked is still kind of like looking around for whatever spooked them, like it's gonna jump out of the bushes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still not fully calm, but he's slightly better than it was before. And because you failed, stick that adversity token right back on to your stack there, Amber. Yeah. And just at that moment, you hear another voice from the campfire go, "Acorn, where's my sister?" And Devin, who is Riel's brother, runs around the campfire and immediately reaches for Acorn. And that's what finally settles the horse down, seeing someone else who's familiar to him. And he whickers and snorts and basically head bumps Devin right in the chest, because he's you can tell this is someone who's like, "Oh my god, thank you, person that I know." Kind of that's basically would be his human response, because he was freaked out. He's like, "What happened?" And he looks at all of you for an explanation.
Are we back at camp?
Yes,
are
you
we
reached
back?
camp.
Yeah.
You physically so basically the way it played out is you got into camp just as Acorn burst into camp. Does that make sense?
Oh,
He burst through the
okay,
trees
yeah,
and
yeah.
into the camp.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we were still with the other characters. We're finally back with the other characters.
Yes. Well, you're back in the camp. You're not finally back with everybody else. We got
It's
2
just
people
us
that are
four.
still charmed with a
And the
fae. No one knows what's going on with Riel right now. So
We'd love to see it.
So currently it is just Eudora, Minerva, Minerva's dad, Devin,
yes.
the horse, and Ari.
Ari. Yes.
Okay, making sure. Eudora's gonna just kind of stand in front of Ari, hoping that the appearance of a new person doesn't scare her too much.
Ari immediately takes initiative and hides behind you, like she was hiding behind the tree. Because you were right in your assessment. She was not thrilled to have another person pop out of nowhere. But in a very little voice, she says, "It feels like magic."
What feels like magic?
The horse. It feels like he has she's struggling to describe it, because it's almost like she's struggling with how to sensorily describe what she's how she's processing it. And she says, when you take a bath and you still have water on you, yeah, that's what it feels like. I can see it. And she moves her hands a little bit. She was hiding behind you, but she's moving her hands to try to illustrate the feeling that she's trying to describe.
Oh, so so Acorn has been around magic, you said?
I think so.
Oh.
Acorn's
cool.
Human? Can our friend pet Acorn? Devin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say Devin looks at you and yeah, he's like, "It's Devin."
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm sorry. We didn't do introductions before we went off into the woods. I usually have a whole exercise, but it's fine. It's nice to meet you. I'm Eudora. This is Ari. And kind of
like he sees the little girl like behind you, and he kind of blinks and, what's going on?
Ari said that she had a job to do tonight and she couldn't do it, and that's really sad. And she was supposed to do like hang up a star or something on like some kind of really tall tree, and I don't know. I want to help her.
Devin looks at you, Dora, looks at Minerva's dad, like, what the hell? Like, and kind of says, so everybody went to go look to see what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Three of you came back an acorn with some little girl we don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister's gone?
I think your sister and the others got separated from us because we were following a glittering path in the snow whenever we realized they weren't behind us anymore. But I think our new friend Ari has maybe found a clue to where your sister might be, because apparently Acorn has been bathed in magic. And Ari, would you like to try to pet Acorn to see if you can find where the magic came from? If it's familiar, kind of like if you use the same soap over and over again in the bath, it might feel different.
As you're saying this, you realize that Ari had already made her way over to the horse. In very true, like if she were a younger child, it would be very typical of what young children like to do with, but she's kind of slinked away, and she was already petting him, like as you were trying to explain to Devin, who is currently looking at you like you've lost your mind, because this whole story is crazy. And she says, she looks back at you and she says one word: summer. It feels like summer. And that's where we're going to end our session tonight. So we will find out what all of that means next time as we continue our Northern Lights one-shot. Dante and Marie are somewhere in the ether. We don't know where they are, what's happening. They're trapped with an evil fae, potentially. Riel is just there with like, wow, I'm with a creepy dude. Please, God, help me.
Yeah. My friends are acting weird.
I found my dad.
Weirder than usual.
Marie is cozy. I don't know, man. There's a fire. This sounds great.
This is great. Cozy with Coco, whatever. Everything's great in Bossing Say.
There's no war.
Absolutely no war in Bossing Say.
Bossing
Oh,
Fae.
God.
Bossing Fae!
Bossing
yeah.
Fae.
Well, thank you very much for joining us tonight, and we will see you soon. Have a good one.